Okay, Don, if you want to get started whenever you're ready, no rush. Grace, if you can just keep an eye out on the waiting room just in case our third applicant comes in a little bit later. That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, everybody's ready. We might as well start. Agenda. Good evening, everybody. It's Committee of Adjustment Consent Granting Authority agenda. So look out Committee of Adjustment and Consent Granting Authority. Tuesday, March 29th, 2022, 5 p.m. Zoom meeting, virtual meeting. Determination of quorum. We have that. Call the meeting to order at 5:03. Motion to excuse member. Member Donna Brutton is absent. Do we need a vote on that? No.
I believe, Mr. Chairman, just a motion to excuse her. So technically a vote, but yes.
Okay. Where am I? Agenda committee meeting of March 29th. Do I got the right one? No. Yeah.
You're good, sir.
Yep. Okay. Committee meeting of March 29th, 2022. Review for corrections to the agenda. Any corrections anybody want to make? No?
Nope.
Okay. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. You haven't got any, Carl? Nope.
I do not know.
Okay. Motion to approve the agenda as submitted and amended. Corey?
I move.
Minutes of committee meeting of February 19th, 2022. Review. Any corrections to the meetings? Anybody's got anything?
No, I went over it. Looked pretty good.
Motion to approve the minutes as submitted and amended. I'll take Donald and Corey.
I'll second. Yes, sir.
Okay. Business from previous meetings. We have any?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I do not believe we do.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any delegations?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we do not.
Okay. Tonight we have one minor variance and two consent applications to read through. I'll take the minor variance first. Okay. Minor variance application MO2 2022 received from Ryan Brazier for the subject lands known as 52 Loon Lake Road to seek relief from the zoning bylaw to permit a demolished. That makes sense.
Demolition.
Permit a demolish of an existing accessory building and construct a new accessory building, detached garage in a familiar location, in a similar location. The new accessory building is to contain storage space and eliminates of a guest cabin on a loft on the second story Okay, this application, yes. Okay, so we'll start with this one. Planning report, municipalities lookout, committee of adjustment, minor application for minor variance, MO2 2022 Grazer 52 Loon Lake Road, March 29th, 2022. Ryan Brazier, the owner of the subject property, has submitted a minor variance application for the property locally known as 52 Loon Lake Road in the municipality of Sioux. Loon Lake Road is a private road and dissects the subject property. The application is proposing to demolish an existing accessory building and construct a new larger accessory building, detached garage, in a similar location on the subject property. The new detached garage is to contain storage space and a guest cabin in the second story. The applicant is seeking relief from the following provisions in the zoning bylaw. Section 4.2.4, the height of any accessory building or structure shall not exceed 1 story or 5.5 meters, 18.0 feet, unless the building is permitted accessory dwellings, in which case the maximum height shall be 12 meters. 4.12.13, the building contains a guest cabin is to have a maximum 24 square meters, 258 square feet, and is not permitted in a building that exceeds a height of 4.5 meters, 14.75 feet. Proposed height of the detached garage is 8 meters with a gross floor area of 206.5 square meters, 2,220 square feet, and a floor area of 137 square meters, 1,470 square feet. Total gross floor area of the guest cabin section of the detached garage is 100 square meters, 1,076 square feet. The draft building plans have been included and attached as attachment 1. Subject property at Loon Lake Road is shown on the figure 1, if everybody's got it, subject property. I'll get staff to read the next one, I guess.
Yes, that's great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'm just going to apologize in advance. My voice is a little raspy today, so if you're having any trouble understanding me, just wave or holler and I'll start again.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you for the introduction. So as mentioned, an application for minor variance has been submitted by Ryan Brazier for the subject property at 52 Loon Lake Road. As mentioned, the intent of the application is to allow for the construction of an accessory building, specifically a detached garage. The applicant is proposing to demolish an existing accessory building and construct the new detached garage in a similar location. The detached garage is to contain storage space and a guest cabin in the second story. The guest cabin space in the detached garage is categorized this way due to the provided building plans depicting sleeping space and our definition of guest cabin in the zoning bylaw. However, the applicant has stated that the space is simply to be used as extra living space for the owner and his family, and notes that no kitchen facility is provided. The minor variance is required to permit the detached garage to have a height of 8 meters and 2 stories, where a height of 5.5 meters and 1 story is permitted by the zoning bylaw. And the detached garage is to have a gross floor area of 206.5 square meters and a height of 8 meters, as a building containing a guest cabin is only permitted to have a maximum of 24 square meters in area and a height of 4.5 meters. The subject property is located within the residential shoreline designation of the official plan and the residential shoreline zone of the zoning bylaw. The subject property has a lot area of approximately 2 acres and a lot frontage of approximately 51 acres on Abram Lake. 51 meters on Abram Lake. Currently, the subject property is developed with a single detached dwelling, a dryland boathouse, which is the existing accessory building that's to be demolished, a covered patio, and a covered storage structure. The applicant has also indicated that the covered storage structure is going to be removed. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, as the PPS permits resource-based recreational uses, which includes recreational dwellings on rural lands. The PPS permits individual on-site sewage and water systems as long as there are no negative impacts associated with those systems. The subject property has an existing private sewage system that we understand can support the proposed washrooms in the new garage, and this will be confirmed during the permitting stage. The 4 tests of a minor variance were reviewed regarding this application. The variance is in keeping with the intent of the official plan, as the official plan includes policies for the residential shoreline designation that relate to maintaining a balance in the built form on the lot and the natural character of the shoreline, and that setbacks and natural vegetation should be used to minimize the impacts of uses on the environment and neighboring properties. The proposed new detached garage is to be located on virtually the same spot as the existing building, which means that the required setbacks and existing natural vegetation will be maintained. The proposed detached garage will be secondary to the existing single detached dwelling in terms of built form. The variance is also in keeping with the intent of the zoning bylaw. The zoning bylaw includes floor area and height limitations for accessory buildings and guest cabins in order to limit the size and scale of these accessory uses and ensure that they remain secondary to the primary uses on the parcel. The proposed detached garage is designed with 2 stories in order to limit the footprint of the building and reduce the removal of vegetation along the shoreline area. The overall scale of the detached garage is secondary to the existing single detached dwelling. The guest cabin proposed within the detached garage is small compared to the existing single detached dwelling and is not to contain a kitchen, and so maintains the secondary status. The variance provides for the desirable development of the land, as the official plan and zoning bylaw both permit residential and accessory uses on the subject property. Finally, the variance is considered minor as the proposed detached garage is appropriate in the context of the subject property and the existing single detached dwelling on the lot. In conclusion, the proposed variance is to permit an increased height for an accessory building and an increased size and height of a building containing a guest cabin, which are minor in nature. Staff are recommending the approval of this minor variance. Apologies. No comments have been received from the public, the general public, or staff or public bodies and agencies on this application.
Okay, good. Any members from the public want to talk on it?
Mr. Chairman, I don't believe we have any general members of the public to speak on this application, but I do believe that maybe Mr. or Mrs. or both Brazier are on the call when you're ready for them to speak if they have anything to speak to.
Okay. Any members from the Committee of Adjustment? Corey.
Yes, sir. First thing, I know that the area is heavily treed. Is there going to be any issues with line of sight for any of the other properties if they're going to build this building? What is it going to be? 8 meters high, and is it going to be as high as the house, or is it going to be shorter than the house?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I can answer that question. When the CBO and I went out to do a site visit at the site, there is no line of sight for any other buildings in the vicinity. Like you said, it's fairly heavily treed quite all the way around, especially to the south and to the east, farther east, where the other residences are. So there shouldn't be any line of sight issues. And the proposed building is going to be shorter than the existing dwelling that is already there.
Okay. That's what I kind of thought, but I had to ask the question.
Okay.
Also, is there going to be plumbing going up to the guest cabin? again, as you pointed out, it's supposed to only function as a for occasional guests, and we were told that it will not have kitchen facilities, which is in the bylaw. I'm just wondering, because it also mentioned that there's going to be washrooms, and I just wonder if there's going to be a washroom upstairs and a washroom downstairs, or just one washroom. Were we made aware of that?
Yeah, from what I read here, that they're going to be hooked into the original buildings septic field, and
Yeah.
they're no cooking appliances, I think, up there or anything like that. Just a bathroom.
I'm just wondering if there's going to be a washroom in the guest cabin or just down in the garage.
Yeah, I never seen that. I didn't, so I can't speak on it.
Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the mock water plans that were included with the application, hopefully were included in your packages, but they do show that there is proposed to be washroom facilities both on the main floor as well as in the upstairs.
Okay.
That's what's proposed in those building plans. Perhaps the applicant could speak further to that if, things have changed, that sort of thing. But there were, to answer your question, there were 2 washrooms proposed for the building.
Okay, because I just read it said washrooms. So also, again, how does the municipality make sure that the guest cabin does not become a rental unit and it's just strictly as a guest cabin and for occasional use? Could we put that in as a condition, or is it just taken that under our bylaws that a guest cabin is? And do we ever check up on people that later? So
I don't know. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. And through you, Mr. Chairman, I was just going to say, so the variances that are being proposed today are purely just for a guest cabin. And if the applicant did want to transfer this building into a secondary dwelling unit, they would have to comply with the secondary dwelling provisions of the zoning bylaw. And currently, they do not apply, particularly to the size requirements. Right now, the size is proposed to be larger than what we would permit as a secondary dwelling unit. And so the zoning bylaw essentially would stop that sort of use from happening. Of course, as with any of our zoning bylaw amendments, it has to come to the attention of staff. So often that would come from, an adjacent properties inquiry, or if the CBO or myself is on the site or around the site and we see the activity. But the zoning bylaw does prevent that from happening just as of right due to the provisions.
And are we allowed to put that as a condition? Or is it just so automatically our bylaw covers that?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chairman, I would say that the bylaw does automatically cover that. As a committee, you're welcome to add any provisions, and I believe that could be added as a provision if you wish to, as a committee.
Yeah, I think
the bylaw does cover it.
Yeah, I understand the bylaw covers it, but just for other people that live around there, it's a private road and more people accessing it. So I think I would like to see it as a condition that I understand that it's just going to be used as an occasional use, but maybe further down the road they could change their mind. So I would like that to be written in as a condition. And then also the conditions of having sufficient water and sewer. And does that come through the health unit? Who does that?
Sure.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, water and sewer would be through the health unit. That's correct, because it's a private system.
Okay, and that'll be pending on this application, or they have to do that separately?
That would be separate, yes, part of the building permitting process.
Okay, perfect. Those are all the questions I had.
Okay, good. I visited the site, and I was looking for the same thing you were on the sight lines of the heights and that, but they're fairly tucked back in the bush there, away from the next door neighbor, I guess. And I couldn't find anything else. It's hard to picture stuff in the wintertime when there's 4 feet of snow laying around somewhere. So
exactly.
So yeah, so I Is there any comments from the owner at all? No? Okay, and then we have.
Good evening. Everybody hear me?
Yep, we can.
No. Yep. No comments from me. But just here to answer any questions or concerns you might have.
Okay.
Besides all that, I don't have an issue with this moving ahead. My only concern was it not to become a rental unit, and it's stated in the bylaw, but to put it as a condition along with the others that are listed. I'd like to see new builds going and it'll add to their property. So.
So you want what, Corey, again?
Just the condition that it would not become a rental unit. I know it's covered in the bylaw, but just to have it on record.
Okay.
And then everything else is dealt with through the building process, permitting process. So for water and sewer, that they have the septic and the well is sufficient enough to do the house and the garage and the guest cabin.
Do we yeah. Have you got a way, is there going to be a way to put that in there?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. If you just include that condition after you've read the general information from the notice of decision, that would be sufficient. And then we can add that to that document so that it gets amended for both the committee members to sign, and then it will go out with that information.
Okay. Okay, having said that, we'll have a move by Corey. You want?
Corey, yeah.
Seconded by John. That the minor variance application MO 2-2022 for 52 Loon Lake Road be approved to seek relief from the zoning bylaw to permit a demolished of an existing accessory building and construct a new accessory building detached garage in a similar location that will contain storage space as well as eliminates of elements of a guest cabin and a loft on the second story. Moved by
Corey will move.
Okay. Seconded by Don. The motion is carried. Okay. I think I got that. Okay, we'll move on from that one, I guess. Second one being a planning report. The planning report, Municipality of Sioux Committee of Adjustment, application for consent and easement. Easement CO1/2022 Rosiac, March 29th, 2022. An application for consent has been submitted to create a new lot on subject lands for a total of 2 lots. The subject lands are legally described as parcel 12240, section, I think it is DKF, lot 2, range 3. To the range 3, reserve, create and accept part 1, 2, and 3 KR 124.5 and Part 1, 23 R8948 Sioux Lookout, and parcel 27935, section DKF, parcel plot LT 2, range 3, PL, reserve Drayton, part 2, KR 124.5, STPT. 2 KR 1245 as in lot 96-844 Sioux Lookout. The subject lands are locally known as 62 Drayton Road. The application also includes 3 easements. The application has been submitted by Nelson Rosiak on behalf of Rosiak Carpentry, who is the owner of the subject lands. Subject lands are outlined on figure 1. Subject lands. Can you do the background proposal?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly can. So as mentioned, an application for consent has been submitted by Nelson Rosiak for the purpose of severing the subject property at 62 Drayton Road into 2 new lots. I'm just going to cast my screen here so that we're all on the same page because it's a little bit complex. Give me one moment. Okay, so you should be able to see the subject property on the screen now. Do note that it does have a bit of an unusual shape. This is not a mistake up here, and it's a byproduct of some older severances and divisions from earlier. Okay, so currently the subject lands contain a CCAN, 2 accessory buildings, and some storage units that are to be removed in spring of 2022, but are otherwise vacant. The intent is to sell the severed lot and keep the retained lot for future development. So you can see here in this image, the red is the proposed retained lot and the yellow is the proposed severed lot that is intended to be sold. The consent application also includes 3 easements, one of which is for existing hydro infrastructure, while the other 2 are for physical access. The easements can be seen on this image here. So the first is the hydro easement here, roughly delineated with the pink line. So it crosses both properties, the severed and the retained. And that's for existing hydro lines. And then there's also a proposed access easement over the retained lot in favor of the severed lot. That's this green line. This one is because there's an existing driveway off of Drayton Road, roughly in this area. So the intent is to use that existing driveway to access the severed lot rather than creating a brand new entrance. And then the third easement proposed is in the orange here. Note this is just an approximate location. You can see that our imagery is not 100% correct, but this is to provide access across the strange little sliver here of the severed lot to the lot here at 26 Drayton Road to ensure that there is still legal access maintained to that property. So that's the 3 easements that were proposed with the application. So the subject lands are located in the urban Sioux Lookout settlement area and are designated residential in the official plan and zoned rural residential in the zoning bylaw. The subject lands have a unique shape, as I noted, as there's that narrow piece that extends west along Drayton Road. The subject lands can be serviced with municipal sewer and water as they're located directly across the street from existing infrastructure. And that's roughly in this location, infrastructure that services the Autumnwood subdivision. The applicant has discussed tying into existing infrastructure with public works staff and no concerns have arisen. The subject lands are also located in the urban settlement area. The provincial policy statement encourages growth and development in settlement areas and for land and resources to be efficiently used. Thus, the application is consistent with the PPS. The proposed consent conforms with the official plan by facilitating infill development in the settlement area, meeting land use compatibility policies, and meeting the policies related to consents and land division found in the official plan. The subject lands are currently zoned rural residential. The proposed severed lot at about 2,500 square meters does not meet the minimum lot area required in the RR zone, which is 10,000 square meters. A zoning bylaw amendment has been included as a condition of provisional consent to ensure that the severed lot will comply to the zoning bylaw. No comments were received from members of the public or municipal staff regarding this application. One comment was received from Bell Canada, who asked that an additional easement be required for existing aerial facilities attached to the hydro poles. This request was added to the proposed conditions of provisional consent. So for a rough illustration of what Bell proposed, from what they said, they have infrastructure along the existing hydro pole. So that would be along this line here. And so they've asked for that to be protected so that they can have access to it for servicing. So that was an additional easement that came in after we sent out our notices for circulation. Staff are recommending that this consent application be approved with the recommended conditions of provisional consent. Thank you.
I guess so. We'll ask, you got anything for you?
Yeah, just the zoning bylaw amendment, is that being done tonight or does that have to come back?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that will have to go to council. And the plan is to bring that to the April council meeting. So you'll be seeing that in a very short time.
Okay, perfect. Because I was just, the houses just to the, when you turn down Drayton, the ones to the north, those are all been rezoned to
Yes,
like R1 or R2?
That's correct. Yes, those
Okay,
those I believe are all R1.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what's going to happen. They're going to come and ask for that piece to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure when that was to be done, and that it had to be brought to council. No, as long as all of the conditions for consent are met,
Yeah.
especially the municipal water and sewer being connected. That's an important one for me to be in there. So I think everything else was covered. So again, I have no issue with this.
Yeah, a question. Do they have to, they don't have to take on the sewer water, do they?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, technically no, but all conversations that we've had with the applicant and the future owner are that the intent is to connect into the existing services. We think it would be advantageous for them. So you're right, they don't have to, but all signs point to that being what they want to do and what we are encouraging them as staff to do.
Okay, so that's good.
Sorry, Don. So we're not going to put in that for the consent that they have to have municipal water or sewer. That'll be up to the landowner.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to get that clarified.
Okay. Any comments from the owner? He's not there, right?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that's correct. He was unable to make it tonight.
Okay, any comments from the public? Okay. Okay, having said that, moved by Corey,
Yes, sir.
seconded by Nolan. The consent application C01-2022 for the subject lands known as 62 Drayton Road be approved to create one new lot on the subject lands for a total of 2 lots. Carried? Okay, thank you. Corey carried.
Yes, sir.
Okay, close. I'm missing one paper here. Let's see it. It's got to do with people objecting to it. You have that, Christine?
Yes, give me one moment, Mr. Chairman, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Okay. A notice of appeal. Do I have to read that out? Yes.
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay.
Just the basically just the 4 short paragraphs there. Once you get to concurrent applications, you don't need to read that part out.
Okay. Okay, appeal. The last date for filing a notice of appeal of this decision is to be determined 20 days from the date the notice of the decision is provided to the applicant. Any such appeal must be filed with the approval authority and must set out the reasons for the appeal and must be accompanied by a fee required by the Ontario Land Tribunal. Notice of changes, if applicable, you will be entitled to receive notice of any changes to the conditions of the provisional chosen consent. If you have made a written request to be notified of changes to the condition of the provisional consent. Persons, appeal limitations. Only individuals, corporations, and public bodies may appeal decision in respect to the application for consent to the Ontario Land Tribunal. A notice of appeal may not be filed by any unincorporated association or group. However, a notice of appeal may be filed by the name of an individual who is a member of the association or group on its behalf. Okay. Cool. So have we got that one settled already? Next one is a consent planning report. Municipality of Sioux Committee of Adjustment, consent granting authority. Application for consent C02 2022 White Pine Development Incorporated, March 29th, 2022. An application for consent has been submitted by White Pine Developments Incorporated to create 2 new lots for a total of 3 lots. The subject lands are located on the southeast corner of 2nd Avenue and Fuller Street and are legally described as Lot 38, Part 1 on Plan M306, municipality known as 17A, 17B, 19A, and 19B Fuller Street. The subject lands the proposed retained lot. The subject lands, the proposed retained lot, and the proposed severed lots are shown in Figure 1. Okay, background.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Give me one second. I'll just pull up this image as well, just so we're all on the same page.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So as mentioned, an application for consent has been submitted by John Carnshan on behalf of White Pine Developments for the purpose of severing the subject lands at 17A, 17B, 19A, and 19B Fuller Street into 2 new lots. The applicant previously submitted a consent application to sever the subject lands in the same way in 2020. The municipality provisionally approved the application in November of 2020 with conditions. The conditions were not fulfilled within the legislated 1-year deadline, and so the approval has lapsed. The subject lands currently contain 1 building with 4 residential units. The intent of the consent application is to create 2 new lots for future residential development and the retained lot containing the existing building. The subject lands are located in the urban Sioux settlement area and are designated residential in the official plan. The subject lands are zoned residential type 2, exception 3 in the zoning bylaw. The consent is consistent with the relevant policies of the provincial policy statement, as the subject lands are located within the settlement area, which is where the PPS directs growth and development. The subject lands are located with access to services, and so any future development will use municipal sewer and water. The application conforms with the official plan, as again, the subject lands are located within the settlement area, which is where the official plan also directs growth and development. The proposed new lots also have lot frontage on an open and municipally maintained road and are infill within an existing developed area. The subject lands are currently zoned residential type 2, exception 3. The R2-3 zone has strict permitted uses, which only include a community garden, single detached dwellings, and townhouses, not to exceed 4 units per building, with a total of 8 permitted units. The proposed retained and severed lots would comply with the minimum standards of the R2 zone for lot area and lot frontage. The existing building will comply with the R2 zone requirements when the new lot is created. The nature of the site-specific zoning, that is the R2-3 zone, means that a zoning bylaw amendment is required to apply new zoning to the lots, and this has been included as a condition of conditional consent. No comments were received from members of the public, municipal staff, or public bodies and agencies.
Oh.
There's a problem.
Christine,
Oh, sorry.
I just got a message that we're not live streaming right now.
Oh, thank you for the notice. Give us 1 second.
It says live streaming.
It says it's live. Let me see.
Some people can't access it.
We can't, some people can't access it, so I don't. This is,
One moment, we'll look into it.
You see John Conacher? Can you see?
Yeah, Don, you guys are, I can hear you and I can see you fine, and I can see everything that Christy's bringing up too.
Okay.
And have the whole time right from the start. So it's been working fine from my perspective.
Told her I just had problem appears to be on your end.
Okay.
So hear anything else?
Okay, I guess we can go back again to it. Christine?
I think she's checking up on it.
Okay, good.
Jim. It says it's recording and it's live stream. So
No, it's all
right
here.
in the top, yeah, on the top corner, right corner there, it says it's recording live on custom live streaming. That's what usually comes up when we stream.
It does appear to be casting. There may have been a blip or something where the connection was lost, but we checked it on a couple different avenues and it does seem to be okay. So if anyone out there is watching and notices us going down again, send us a message, I guess.
Okay.
I feel good that someone was wanting to watch us.
That's right. Special.
Yeah. Okay, where were we?
I believe I was almost finished the overview. Give me one moment here. Yes. So as mentioned, no comments were received on this application from members of the public, municipal staff, or public bodies and agencies. Staff are recommending that this consent application be approved with recommended conditions of provisional consent.
Okay, great. Okay, Corey, did you got any comments about it?
Just nothing has changed from the original one we did in 2020. It's all the same.
Through you,
Should
Mr.
be.
Chairman, that's correct, at least from my perspective. I wasn't here when it originally went through, but in conversations with the chief building official and our consultants, they note that nothing has changed. John, if you wanted to say something to that, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I can just let you guys know the reason we need this bit of an extension is because we had a bit of issues retaining legal to register the survey on title and really just needed the extra time for this. We had struggles through COVID and a couple different lawyers to commit to finishing up the registration on title for us. So everything is the same.
Okay, good.
Thanks, John. Yeah, again, I have no issue. We've already approved this once, so
Okay,
no issue with me moving ahead with it again.
yeah. Yeah, I have no issues with it either. It's a carryover from previous meetings. So. Okay, all in favor? Okay,
Oh, do you have to do a motion?
yes. Moved by Corey,
I'll move.
seconded by Don, that the consent application CO 2-2022 for the subject lands known as 17A, 17B, 19A, and 19B Fuller Street be approved to create 2 new lots on the subject lands for a total of 3 lots. All in favor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, do we have? Any business coming up?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, at this time, we have nothing coming up.
Okay. Okay, I guess if we're done, no comments or anything from anybody else? No. Okay, I
No.
guess we're done. Moved by Corey, I guess.
Yes.
Committee of Adjustment meeting of March 29th, 2022 is adjourned.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Have a good evening. Thanks,
You
Chris.
too. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
That's where it was supposed to be streamed.